I've identified 3 very distinct stages of communicating with a narcissistic spouse when you're going through a divorce. And in this video, I'm going to break them out for you and tell you how you need to be communicating during each of those individual phases. But first, will you please subscribe to my channel? That's how these videos are going to reach more of the people who really need to hear this information. I'm Victoria McCooey. I'm a narcissist divorce coach, a motivational speaker, and the creator of the Reclaim Your Power system. I help people every day who are right where you are, stuck in a toxic marriage to a narcissistic spouse, or already engaged in a contentious divorce from one. All right, so what are these 3 stages of communicating with a narcissist? Of course, there's before the narcissist knows what's going on, before they know that you're preparing to leave. This is what I like to call the Stepford wife stage. That's because you are going to pretend like everything's fine. You're not going to engage in any arguments. You're not going to give in any emotion. You're not going to let in any emotion. You're just going to try to get through the day, do all your planning, getting your ducks in a row, but you're not going to engage in any conflict because that's going to give you the time you need to heal as much as you can while you're living with the narcissistic abuser. But at any rate, the less you communicate with them, the better, but you don't want to raise any red flags for them. The second stage, of course, is during the divorce process. And that's what we're going to call the yellow rock stage. All right, so you may be familiar with gray rock, where you don't speak or give any emotion at all. You only speak when absolutely necessary, and you give no interest, no emotion, nothing. All right, so yellow rock is a step above that, where you do give some pleasantries. You try to make things nice. You say in an email, say to your spouse or soon-to-be ex-spouse while you're going through the divorce, you might say, "Good morning, hope you had a nice weekend," or whatever that looks like, because you are under a microscope during this time. You're in a court case. There are lawyers, there's a judge, there probably are other experts involved. If you have children, there may be a law guardian, there may be a parenting coordinator, there are all kinds of other people watching your communication. If you are the one not giving any kind of emotion, just doing a gray rock kind of method where you're information only, they could see you as the problem. They don't know, they don't understand the dynamic of your relationship. They might even have been convinced that the narcissist is actually the good guy here, or who knows? So you can't come off as being totally dismissive, right? We don't want you to look like the problem. So you go through the motions of saying little niceties, not digging at the other person, just really being as sweet and nice as you can without really giving emotion or receiving any emotion. And then finally, after the divorce is final and all these experts are off the case, nobody's watching anymore, and you are just taking care of you, this is when you go as close to no contact as you possibly can. So if you don't have children together, easy peasy, right? You cannot speak at all ever again. If there are any legal matters that still need to be tied up after, you write an email that has absolutely no emotion, or let lawyers handle it, whatever that looks like for you. If you have children, it's not so easy. You are going to have to share information, share children, communicate on some level, but you give no emotion. You don't take the bait. You say as little as possible, and you detach as much as you possibly can. So In my coaching, this is what we go through. We really take a deep dive into what each of these scenarios looks like and the language that you might use yourself. So if this is something that you think you could use some help with and you want to talk to me about it, you can book a call. I'll put a link in the description below where you can get on my calendar. Did you find this information helpful? I hope you did. If you liked this video, will you please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I've linked a couple of other videos here that I think you might also like, so I hope I see you in the next video.